Okay. We're both gonna take running prep time.
Yes.
I don't even remember how much we have left. 1:30 each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is everyone ready?
1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, my timer keeps on turning off. Okay.
Okay. Everyone
I
ready?
will begin our time now.
All right, that is time.
That's time.
Yeah, that was
Right.
All right, so we are speaking first. And there's 3 minutes. We can't hear you, Jacob.
We can't hear you.
Hold on. My volume isn't working.
You're good now.
Okay. Was it 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay, so my Bluetooth disconnected. All right, so was it 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
All right. Then are my opponents ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, then I will begin now. So regarding my first contention, society as a whole, we're becoming more accepting of LGBTQ communities and whatnot, and so this shouldn't be an issue in the future, in the near future. Also, they only talked about Christianity and Catholicism regarding homophobia. This does not reflect all religions and should not be weighed towards, or this and that point should not be weighed towards them very heavily. Additionally, homophobia results mostly from like misinterpretation of the scriptures within the Bible. So it's more of human error than religious belief or practice. There's nowhere that says in the Bible to discriminate against certain groups, and in fact, it's discouraged because it's implied by their the moral values listed on there. And then for my second contention, so hold up. for my second contention, once again, the situation is a bit like, or their argument is a bit specific. It doesn't really, how do I say this? It's just they brought up arguments that are real specific, and they don't really conform with the resolution. Additionally, sorry, hold up, my volume is working. Okay. So they promote selflessness and lives lost, not relating. Hold on, I read the wrong thing. So yes, some people die, but this does not show how we promote selflessness on our second contention. And um, yeah, charity work may not outweigh the millions of lives lost, but then again, the Holocaust was like 1900s. I don't see how that's relevant to modern days. And yeah, I just don't see the relevance of that. So it it wouldn't really make sense to weigh it towards our second contention. And this, oh sorry.
We
Okay.
can't hear you.
Hear you.
Oh no. Oh my time went out. Wait, you couldn't hear me?
Like for those last couple seconds. But time was up anyway, so. All right, now it is Neg's turn.
All right. Is my opponent ready?
Yes.
Is my partner ready?
Yes.
Then I will begin. So far, our opponents have touched on how their first contention was moral compasses and how religion can help with the moral compasses, and how that's excuse me, sorry. Sorry. My mind has gone blank. I'm so sorry. I can't remember. And how that is not and how I'm so sorry. How religion can bring better morals and strengthen society. However, it also imposes the fact that religion doesn't support LGBTQ is still standing and still still imposing upon them as the moral values proceed to still impose upon LGBTQ, as well as their their second they're also ignoring the fact that morals are also imposed upon and brought upon in basic society, as my partner has said, through just basic learning through and teaching, as in like kindergarten, not to steal, or basic ethics in not to kill, as why forget that, never mind, forget that point, sorry, not the point. All right, whatever. moving on to their second contention of charity and benevolence. They bring up that charity is strengthened and outweighs, not outweighs, but is more beneficial than not beneficial, but like, what's the word? Like, kind of is more prominent than the 11 million lives lost. Like, it's more like, it shows up more. It would be more beneficial to society and more like impacting on society. Or that's denying the fact that there's the 11 million people dead still put the country in debt and had damaged them for decades later, as we still see people using religion to justify hate as in the Holocaust to Jewish people today. And the usage of,
Okay, so that leads us directly into the rationale. We'll begin with that. Is everyone ready? All right, then they'll begin. So the first point I would like to bring up in rationale is what we'd like to talk about specifically with how society is progressing and being progressive. One thing that my opponent brought up was teaching, let's say in kindergarten, and teaching to children. And this was one point that my partner was trying to dive into with our attacks. Was basically with this progressive society that is becoming more accepting. Well, yes, this homophobia and these issues were prevalent in the past. They won't be now in the future. And inherently, we are benefiting from religion, specifically because these homophobic issues are not being taught to these children, specifically what my opponents were talking about. While it may have been a problem in the past, as we become more progressive, this is not being taught to the children and therefore will not be affecting us inherently in the future. So we have completely won this point. I would like to talk about this progressiveness and how we are wholly benefiting from religion with how we are progressing in today's society. Moving on to my second voter issues point, specifically relating to their second contention. I do not know how topical their second contention is, specifically because the war with Ukraine is not inherently directly related to religion. In specific, I feel like it is more directed to politics and specific world power in general with Putin. His statement, while I do not have evidence present, his statement directly was towards NATO and how Ukraine's involvement with NATO, they felt as if they did not take action, they would be inherently in danger in the future. So I don't feel as if their second contention is actually completely topical, because in this majority instance, it is not inherently related to religion. My final voter issues point is I would like to show inherently why religion more benefits rather than hurts society. So with religion, as we talked about with our first contention, is it provides people with a moral compass. While we obviously can't create moral compasses in general, religion provides us with a sense of, as we talked about our second contention, selflessness, more giving, a more generous society. And it helps us, have a more specific idea of what should be moral and what should not be moral. And on the negation side, well, in their past, there has been issues with religious affiliation. That does not mean we would have them from this point on. A lot of religions are extremely peaceful and inherently not violent. So while this has been an issue in the past, as we're becoming more progressive, we see less homophobia, we see less violence. And so far as we have progressed, we have seen a more giving and a more accepting society. And so on the negation, religion does still, on the negation, it doesn't hurt as much as religion actually does benefit to us. So for these reasons and many more, I urge the ballot in that of the affirmation.
Okay, and now I will begin, or the negation will begin on their 2-minute rationale speech. So if my opponents are ready, is my partner ready? Okay, then I will start this now. All right, just to go over everything, voter issues, basically, me and my opponents seem to clash a lot on the issues of moral compasses. And my opponents talked a lot about a progressing society. Yet today, in this resolution, we are talking about the now, about how religions benefit society today. And the fact is that they don't. Yes, they could be progressing, but that is not the now, that is the future. And as my opponent clearly stated, we are here for the now. So considering now, religion does not benefit society. It moreover, going back to our second contention, hurts society. And relating to our first contention, they talked about how we are, as religion is progressing and they're becoming more inclusive to the LGBTQ community, as I said, this is the future. We are, yes, we may be progressing, but this is not the now. And then we still see that ratio that we talked about. And my opponents also touched on the Ukraine issue about our case. Our opponents did not state any evidence. As I said, there was no evidence to this, so it was more of just talking about it. As clearly here, we have stated evidence that it is religiously affected, it is religiously related. Therefore, that a point they made does not count. And then going on to our opponent's contention too, as yes, charity work is important, so is the 1 million lives that our opponents seem to go over. They still count and they still matter. So just going over all this today, I believe the negation has won to the fact that one, religion is not inclusive of the LGBTQ community, which is super important within today's our society. People can't help who they are, can't help who they love. And we need to keep in mind and be supportive as a community, because if we as a society are targeting people within our community, a society cannot progress and cannot benefit. And then moving on to our contention too, so many previous wars and stuff has happened from this, so much violence, so much lives lost, and these lives cannot be ignored. They are relevant due to the fact that they lost their lives due to religion. So for these reasons, many more, I urge the judge in that vindication. Thank you.
All right, awesome.